Meeting's called to order. Regular city council meeting, July 11th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Councilor Bishop. Here. Councilor Reddy.
Here.
Councilor Paul.
Here.
Councilor Wilson.
Here.
Oh, nice.
Councilor Jean Knox. Councilor Newstead.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. Pledge of allegiance. Yes. Mr. Manager, any adjustments to agenda?
No, just
Announcements, correspondence, awards, proclamations,
nothing, Your Honor.
public input. We're very happy to see what great turnout tonight. Looks like we have about people. First up, Jessica Simpson, former city manager. As if anyone doesn't know that.
Can you hear me, Janet?
Uh-oh.
Can't hear Janet. Oh, she's talking. Can anybody? I just want to make sure.
Marvin, can you hear us? Well, there's that.
Okay, how about now? Is it fine over there? I don't, oh, you can hear me?
Nice.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Hi, Jessica Simpson, 680 Hill Street. I wanted to remember everything to tell you, so I wrote down what I'm gonna say. So I'm just gonna read it to you. Good evening, Council, Mayor. As both a resident of Gold Hill and as the former city manager, I have been listening to and taking part in the great wastewater debate for nearly 3 years now. If you've ever spoken to me about it, you know that at times I supported the pipeline, and at times my support was for Gold Hill continuing to maintain its own wastewater plant by refurbishing it. There are pros and cons to both of those options. And this late in the game, those should be the only two options you were still weighing of the original 11 in our wastewater master plan. I want to start by giving you an analogy about buying a new car. Now, if you've got your act together, when you go buy a car, you make your decision based on things like, does it get good gas mileage? Do I want a coupe or a sedan? Which options, which color, et cetera, et cetera. But if you don't have your act together, the only factor you can consider is what your monthly payment is going to be. Council, as someone who understands the financial situation of Gold Hill thoroughly, which group we're in, and we should be greatly concerned with our monthly payment. But I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. So, while it may seem the smart financial decision to refurbish our own plant because the dollar amount is smaller, it is actually cheaper to annex into the pipeline. Yes, the overall cost pipeline project is more than refurbishing plant, but the price that the residents will pay on their monthly utility bill is lower. And I've already told you, we're in the group that needs to focus on our monthly payment. Now, I've heard the argument that we should refurbish our plant and find another operator besides RBSS so that the city can continue to maintain control of our own facility. And yes, that would have been my preference too, if we had made the decision 2 years ago when we still had time to go, but we didn't, and the DEQ is telling us we're running out of time. If we choose the pipeline option, we solve both problems of what facility and who to operate it. Decision made, the project can proceed with DEQ's blessing, and you will be able to turn your focus towards some of the city's other issues. Once the DEQ begins fining us $500 a day for not coming to a decision though, we won't only be out of time, we'll also run out of money within a year. Of course, once the city is bankrupt, we'll be disincorporated and there won't be a city of Gold Hill anymore. So choose the pipeline and choose it now before it's too late. Yes, we'll be giving up our wastewater plant, but would you rather lose the plant or the entire city? I know that sounds extreme, so go ahead and laugh at me. But listen to me anyway. I would rather have you laughing at me and listening to me now than telling me next year that I'm right because we don't have a city anymore, because we ran out of money because we couldn't make a decision. I know each and every one of you personally, and I know that you're not here on council because you want the prestige of calling yourself a city councilor. You're all here because you love this city. You want to do what's best for it. So do what's best for it. Be the council that saves the city, not the council that gets blamed for destroying it. Choose the pipeline, save Hill. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Like that? There.
We do have a 5-minute timeline, time limit, so we appreciate her saying her piece and not dawdling. Okay, number 2. Andrew. And Andrew, is that Lukowski?
You got it perfect.
Good guess.
Opposed, name. My name is Andrew Lukowski, 1045 4th Avenue. I'd just like to bring to you guys' attention, since you are talking about the sewer. On my way here, I've walked past 996 4th Avenue. The 4th Avenue Trailer Park has now 8 RV camper trailers parked and squirreled into the woods, even behind the house. And a few of them were hooked up to garden hoses as I was coming by. So they do have water in them. And it already started to smell a little like feces. It might have been the propane, but I don't know if that's something that, I don't know if our system can handle that many utilities on one address. And I'd like that to be addressed. My neighbor at 1055 looks directly at 4 of those campers, all within a 50 by 50 square, I believe.
Okay.
Thank you.
And it's Andrew,
Andrew, yes.
correct? Okay, and that's 996 4th Avenue?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
We've got our manager on. Thanks, Andrew. Richard.
I'll make this quick. My name's Richard Hart. Most of you have met me before. Tonight, I'm here to kind of thank you guys. I've been heavily involved in the Parks Department, and something that several months, 2-3 months ago, I started trying to get wrangled with some work to be done about future parking in the park and the parking that we already have. Over the last couple of weeks, the parking down from the area from the skate park into the area that should be for boat trailer parking has just got to the point where it's unmanageable. There's small cars parked, they're blocking sometimes as many as 3 or 4 parking spots parking in the middle of it. So it's unuseful for anybody. Have outfitters that are to run their businesses through there. And it's a big part of, everyone talks about the parks as part of, the jewel this town has. And unfortunately, the way things are going down there is not making us look very shiny like a jewel. And so I would like to see if you guys could find it in your hearts to okay the funds, because I know there was some money that was transportation oriented in that grant, and I know that it had to be transportation oriented. If this would fit into being able to get a parking lot striper down there and help see this problem, just ask for your blessing and hope God that you can help us find some funds and be able to put someone in there this year instead of next year. So we're already on late. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And the library just resurfaced or
Right.
put a oil topping on it, restriped it. So we may be able to touch base with them on who they start them anyhow.
Right. And so, Richard, what you're suggesting is restripe the parking lot at the boat ramp?
That would be, my thing would be to put on when you pull up out of the water on the right hand side, to put possibly red lines there that say loading only.
Okay.
And maybe the first 2 parking spots, outers only, and the rest that are for boat trailers. At least stripe those, at least have little placards, or not placards, but painting at the bottom of each one says trailer parking only. And it's a big thing with guys that do that, they can whip that stuff out, they've already done it before. So I mean, it's not that big of a project. it's really, we're gonna have somebody get hurt down there eventually if we don't. It's just not manageable. There's people parking spots that are simply in the way, you know, where it's making it hard for anyone to get in and out of there with their trying to get loaded in water. So,
Yeah.
People to get down there and doing some of the maintenance and get it bigger, but the parking part is still. And I appreciate your time. Hopefully you guys can figure something out. Okay?
Mr. Manager, if you were to swing by, when would be best? Richard, you need to maybe touch base with
Yeah.
Jared.
And he said that I should bring it up to you guys. 'Cause Eventually,
I did.
you guys are the ones with the purse strings, especially that grant. And I know that grant is a real subject of what we do with it. But this is transportation oriented and it does be done. And that way we don't have to use funds out of the general fund to do it. So
So Richard,
it's a win.
your experience, what do you think it would cost to stripe that lot?
I have no idea. I've never hired it.
I get that, but I was for a
I know
ballpark.
this with a couple, you know, painting a roller, if we only have enough money for a couple.
Well, I mean-
That's a Tony roller, what you do it.
So,
There's a 10 kids tagging down there that could probably come up into it.
Yeah. Well, there's a big difference between a contractor and one of us doing it,
Yeah,
so.
they would be able to, or if we get a voluntary cooperation, either, I mean, the city of Medford, at least, thing with us on the property over here at Lampman on that part. Maybe they would allow us to use their spray day, because they probably have their own sprayer for doing parking.
Gotcha. Okay,
We just gotta find some type of solution to move forward.
understood.
Okay.
Where are you going? You gotta stay for the rest of the meeting. No, you gotta stay down.
Today is the anniversary of my wife's dying, so
You gotta stay.
I'm gonna go up and community service and.
All right.
You guys have a nice evening.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
close them out there, manager.
I try.
Brad, I have the contact information for Strike, the lot down here at the library.
Awesome.
Because actually, I had to come up and you gave us a bid for it right away.
Great.
I mean, it's-
Yeah, Mark, if you can get that to me, yeah, because they did a great job at the library.
It did,
Definitely.
And we got 2 bids for our driveway and they were considerably less.
Awesome. Okay,
Those changes down at
cool.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
was just looking at that. I was kind of curious.
Yeah, they haven't done it, Buzz or.
So-
Rent that.
Thank you.
How much do you think it is per hour? Because they busted out that big parking lot.
That's a
in
Tony
2 hours.
question. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike Beachhide.
There's Mike.
My name is Mike Beachide. I live at 707 Ambrose Street. And I recently read a fact sheet on the pros and cons of the pipeline versus the plant. And it seems to me that it's kind of a no-brainer to go with the pipeline. Just considering everything, our history with the plant and how it's getting old. And that's basically.
Thank you. What I'm hearing is that you're for the pipeline.
I'm for the pipeline.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. You.
She did 2 years, I swear. Anyway, Hugh Schoonover, I live at 531 Ambrose. I've been around here for the last 45 years. And today I'd like to say I appreciate the council looking into the wastewater treatment facility. I think it's about time we need to do something with it. I appreciate what you're doing on it. I know there are a lot of issues tied into it that I'm not cognizant of. But I am aware that we need to do something. And I believe I'm a supporter of the pipe Medford because over the long run, I think it would benefit all of us. Because for 2 things, one, it brings us all together in the valley. We need to run our waste through one central facility. And everybody's moving in that direction anyway. And secondly, the other part I like about it, it would help the river. Instead of all these little cities dumping their water in the river, And I don't know if you go down to the river sometimes and look what's in the river. I wouldn't let my kids swim at the beach. Anyway, so I'm a supporter, and I understand that we're supposedly spending $360,000 a year over a contract figure, which translates into about, supposedly there are 579 people tied into the system. And what that gentleman mentioned, I think is quite factual. A lot of the places around here, these RP centers that tie in, I don't think they're paying their fair share. And this has come up many years ago because too many people are tied into the system. But it's something I think the city should look into real seriously, because as he said, there might be 10 different people pumping into the sewer system, but they only have one RP center. I don't think that's fair. And I know if we're paying right now, supposedly we're paying, it's costing us $62 a month for my sewer. Okay, but with a contract figure of $360, that translates into $52 per household, if you want to call it that. An extra $10 the city is picking up. Where's that $10 going out? I'd be curious.
I've got answers.
Okay.
First off, what's your name, sir?
My name is Hugh.
Hugh?
Last name is Schoonover, SCHOONOVER.
SCHOO.
NOVER.
NOVER.
Yeah. First name is HUH.
But Breckenridge, so people can't get my name right either, so
Okay, don't worry.
I got you.
I've been school over a lot of different things.
Yeah, actually, it's Schoonover, correct?
Schoonover.
Schoonover.
Yeah.
Mr. Schoonover, yeah, with our, the cost that we're spending for wastewater, we're actually, the city is actually upside down. The costs are more than what we're actually charging the residents. And I'm working on that, trying to work on a format that will illustrate that to you, because I understand you're paying out this money, you have no idea where it's going or what it's for. So I'm working on that. So hang in there with us.
Okay, appreciate it. I'm just curious because when I did the math on the 360,000,
Right.
it didn't pencil.
I get it. I hear you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Anyone in the queue? Okay, good. Consent agenda,
There are no items for the consent agenda, Your Honor.
Your Honor. Discussion items, wastewater facility.
Actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna suggest maybe we reverse the order, because I think it's gonna take a while, and I think that the
Oh.
can-do is gonna take very long, and we can do that fast. I
Good
don't
point.
want to stay around.
Good point.
Just a suggestion.
So if everyone's okay, we'll flip flop 7.1 discussion and 8.1 action item. So we'll go to action item now, which is to authorize the use of the Gold Hill Sports Park and parking lot. Consider waiving fees associated with the use of the park for the Summer Fun Fest event to be held August 26th, sponsored by Can Do. Authorize trucks and vendors to sell food and beverage.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. Can Do, which is an avid supporter of the city, and they're definitely supporters of what we do here. And they raise money and raise volunteerism for the city. What they want to do is propose an event for August 6th, 2022, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And what we're asking is to authorize the use of the Gold Hill Sports Park and parking lots, and consider waiving fees associated with the use of the park for Summer Fun Fest. Event to be held August 6th, 2022, sponsored by Can Do. And we also want to authorize food trucks and vendors to sell food and beverages at the event. Now, our ordinance does require council authorization to allow food trucks to sell food and products at our events. Can Do did initially want to allow alcohol sales, but they've since rescinded that request. So basically, it's just a matter of allowing them to use our park, waiving parking and park fees, and letting them have their event.
Time's up. Okay,
Can I do good care? Yeah. good.
at the outset, we see August 6th and August 26th. Is it still on the 6th? Okay,
Yeah, that was our mistake.
okay.
I apologize.
All right, good. Thoughts? Council, would you like to weigh in on things?
I'm all for the event, so I'm sure that can do be able to throw an event on August 6th. It'll not be trust members to be able to second and the fees.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We haven't really talked about it much, so if anyone else has anything they'd like to add.
Well, as an avid beer aficionado, why did we eliminate the beer garden?
Insurance, OLCC, isn't it?
Yeah, and if I'm Counselor Rigney and Counselor Palmer, in my experience in the past, it's best to have a beer garden when we have alcohol being served, and that may be one of the challenges that Can Do It has found is, we like to contain all alcohol sales into one area. So I know we don't like to think it, but people can walk out there and hand beer to an underage person, and we'd rather contain all of our beer conservation, thank you, in one area. So whether that had an impact on the decision.
So I've always thought of the dog park, the right side of the dog park being used as the beer garden.
Yeah.
Start doing festivals because it's already got the chain link fence.
Absolutely.
And it could be decked out, nice lighting.
Yeah,
It's actually really easy. Once you coordinate off the beer garden, there's no mic allowed.
Right.
And all you need is someone with OLCC card and someone checking IDs.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's it.
And that's up to Can Do. And that's why I told Carol, if we could just contain everybody so we can check IDs and make sure no one walks out of that area with alcohol, we're good to go. I mean, that keeps us in good graces with the ABC and the state. I think is the smart way to go.
We just don't know how to do it well enough to do it. So we're just gonna wait.
And there's nothing wrong with starting simple and building. Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, I'm not going unless we have a beer garden. I do.
Come on, you went to college. You know how to do that. Anyone else? Okay, it's moved in second. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Councilor Reed,
Yes.
Councilor Palmer,
Yes.
Councilor Wilson.
Can you hear us, Janet?
I can't hear anything that
Yay
Carrie
or nay?
says. Can you hear me?
There we go.
I can't hear anything
Yeah.
that Carrie is saying, so I don't know if her mic is plugged in or not.
Oh. So we're voting on allowing Can Do to utilize the sports park and waiving fees.
Yes.
It's been moved and seconded. Are you in favor? All right, thank you.
Councilor Gino,
Yes.
Councilor Newstead.
Yes.
All right, motion passed.
Thank you. And thank you, Can Do. We're looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
We get a lot of work out of 4 people. There's no
We do.
doubt about it.
We really do.
Okay, so now we'll flip flop back to discussion item 7.1 wastewater facilities.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. As you know, last Friday, several of you had the opportunity to tour 3 different wastewater facility plants here in the area. We had Medford, Shady Cove, and River. Y'all had an opportunity to view those locations and kind of observe the operations. what I'd like to do tonight is basically get your approval to set up a work session for next Monday. So we can actually commit our time just specifically for the wastewater treatment plant. I don't want to keep kicking the can. I want to keep it moving. I will say, that I'm looking at you, Carol. We had a great timeline put together by Carol. I'd like to get that out to you guys. I think it's a great idea where it basically keeps us on tap, where we should be doing things at certain times within a deadline. So I'd like to present that to you guys next week if you're amenable. But I think that it'd be great if we can discuss the wastewater treatment plant next week, just a sole work session for that.
So I agree we need more discussion about the wastewater treatment plant. I feel like that our discussions tend to get circular sometimes, and other times way off track and we get off in the weeds. I would like to suggest that we invite someone from RVCOG, maybe Nolan, or maybe someone else in RVCOG that you think might be better suited for it, to come and help guide the discussion, to keep us focused, on track, out of the weeds, not repeating ourselves, and not just to keep us on track in the discussion. I also feel after doing the tours last week, Carl Tapper offered to come and give us a presentation. I feel that would be very worthwhile. I think that he would give, although he is with RVSS, I don't think he'll come in here and say you have to do the pipeline. I think that he would give us a really balanced, informative synopsis of the issues. I don't feel like we've really been presented, other than, we've had some attachments to the agenda. But since I've been here, we haven't really had anybody come and say, this is the situation, put it all together, and just really streamline the information issues for us so that we can make a better informed decision.
Yes. I don't disagree.
Would have Mike Bowley in here and Debbie as well from SOWT.
Do that.
We should have all the players get their 10 minutes.
I think it's going to take more than 10 minutes. I think it's going to take more than one session.
And it might. And if it does, it does, because we do want to go into this with a clear understanding of what the plus and minuses of each option.
And I'd say after going to the different treatment plants, there's no clear direction. I mean, there's really not, but I mean, there's a lot of clarity once we go visit and talk to Carl and Kevin, and then go to SOWT and talk to Mike and Debbie as well. I mean, there was a lot of clarity, and they're all matters of their craft, but then, we also have to weigh in what's the best thing for both people too. But it was great seeing both.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it arrange that with our Sunday. That would be the concern, or with whether Carl is available next Monday, or Mike is available.
Yeah, and let me state for the council's purpose, I'm not sure. I don't know if we can bring in Carl and Mike and bring them in if we're going to ask them both to bid for this particular job. I don't know. I think it's great. They can both present information to the council. And if we can do that, that's great. I think that's the best case scenario. I just want to make sure that we're not creating any rules as far as RFPs, letting them, I'm thinking out loud here, guys.
Right. I mean, bringing one as opposed to the other seems biased.
Yeah, let me think about this. Can we schedule this for next week at Monday? And let me kind of think about the legalities.
I really don't want to do it without RVCOG there. And I think we need these people there. I don't think us getting together and hashing it among ourselves again without more information and without a guided conversation, I don't think we're going to get.
Okay,
My opinion.
so maybe next week is too soon.
maybe it's gonna take 2 sessions and let's just count on it. And, I think keeping it moving is not a bad idea.
So, council, what are we wanting to hear? I'm not clear on what you're suggesting, or I'm not clear on what you're
Well,
suggesting.
like Janet said, two calendars. We need somebody, give us a one pager, pros and cons, cost comparisons, all of those things, and a really concise one-stop shopping kind of event. I think both of them can do that.
What I heard was give us true numbers, and this was like 2 months ago, and we have not seen anything.
I don't think, my opinion,
On either way we go.
Going
We
out
just
and
need the
getting-
numbers.
We need the numbers of which way we're gonna go.
Exactly.
Whether it's pipeline, which the numbers,
we,
nobody knows the numbers of those.
we have the numbers in the master plan.
That
And,
master
and
plan.
it's- you're not gonna get more, newer, accurate numbers without them going out and doing estimates. We can't do that. We don't have time to do that. We have to go with the numbers we have. And the numbers are all really close. They're all $10 million, no matter what we do. It's $10 million. Margin of error probably wipes out any differences that there are between all those options. And then also on the back end, the total cost is to be mitigated by the financing we get. So we really don't, I mean,
So
and we can't do that until we make a decision
we're
about.
agreeing cost. Which way the road we go down, it's gonna be around 10 to $12 million.
Yep, right.
So let's just make a decision. I mean, we need to make a decision. I'm with the community on, we've been playing this
Okay.
card for 2
So you
years
want-
now.
You want to just vote tonight?
Yeah, I would. I'd go pipeline.
Oh, that
How
makes,
about-
that makes so much
How about a
sense.
straw vote?
No, come on.
How about?
If we're gonna be thoughtful
Don't be
and,
that way. Don't be childish. I'm just saying.
I was not being childish.
Well,
I,
a straw
come on,
vote?
Don't insult me.
Well, you just insulted me.
I did not.
Want to vote or we don't?
I just want to say we're pushing this too long.
So after going on a visit to the Shady Cove and the SOWT, I mean, I did get to hear some cost analysis from RBSS on what it would cost for the pipeline. Not the whole number, but on a monthly cost. And the Gold Hill residents are going to incur the cost of the pipeline monthly and also incur the cost of the previous debt that we've already accumulated. So we're looking at rates rising, not decreasing.
Exactly. He sat right here and told a couple of months ago, told the whole.
hold that. Go ahead.
Told RVSS sat right here and told us, yeah, your rates are gonna go up, and this is what it's gonna cost. For dehydration ponds, or we go pipeline. You know, we got the cost, and Councilor Beechive and I agree, we know the cost. It's gonna be a lot, and we know that the consumer is gonna absorb that.
So SOWT, I mean, this is where the two come in. The two differences are huge, even though they want to get to the same exact spot. SOWT was talking about rehabbing it incrementally as needed, which made sense because they were talking about doing modifications, not having to pass all these engineering plans with the DEQ and the time left for that. So, I mean, just hearing both of what they were saying, you know, there's big
Okay.
differences to get to the same spot.
All
right, wait, let's take-
Ask a question about what.
Let's keep things in order. Mark and Hugh.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, every one of you has got the 5-page document, pretty much stand by what I said. You can fact check that, you can talk to Carl about it. I've tried to be as factual and as honest as I could. You know, I would make a point, the problem down here at the trailer park, we've got 8 potentially illegal hookups. Okay, here's an example of, again, you all know I'm in favor of the pipeline. We annex into Road Valley Sewer Systems and they take ownership of the pipeline, and we have a problem like that, they take care of it. We don't have anybody in the city staff to go down there and fix that right now. And are we assessing a monthly sewer bill to every one of those trailers? Probably not. We're losing a lot of revenue. Again, confirm with Carl, but I can guarantee that they're not gonna let that kind of stuff go. And that's been my whole point from the get-go. We don't have the resources. Let's let somebody who knows how to take care of our wastewater. So again, I'll stand by my document. I'm not gonna be able to be here Monday, but I would certainly want to sit in on any future work sessions, and I would encourage bringing DEQ in. See if you can get a hold of John Gassick and have him at the table also. Get his opinion. At that point, my document. Are there potential future regulatory nutrient limits coming for the city of Gold Hill? Because Medford, their permit has already been issued. They have a 9-year timeline that they have to meet nutrient removal and have those facilities installed within 9 years. And I can guarantee this, this hasn't come out yet, but if Medford has to do it, it's only time if the city of Grants Pass is going to happen. Now, I don't know about Gold because truthfully, the amount of nutrient load that the city puts into the river may not be enough to require nutrient removal. Well, we don't know that. But at some point down the road, this is going to affect the city of Grants Pass also. They're not going to make Medford do it. And water quality standards on the river are going to be all the same.
Yeah.
But I would encourage bringing it to you.
Jerry, this has come up twice. Can you check with Tappert maybe or whomever and see if in fact they're getting a per unit that's equivalent to other households in that RV park or all of our RV parks? Because we may be walking away from a bunch of revenue right there that simply has been overlooked.
I mean, we're talking about an illegal RVs parked there.
Well, we're also talking about legal ones not getting charged the same amount as other houses. So that's
See,
two.
this is what I'm talking about getting into the weeds. This is way out there in the weeds.
Okay.
Yeah, this is probably a discussion we should have in a separate meeting, because Mayor was gonna have to clarify, which would probably take another 10 or 20 minutes. One of the suggestions I had for this council is come back next Monday and have a work session specific for wastewater. I mean, y'all have had a chance, Councilor Bigney, Councilor Ted, Councilor Eshai, you guys have all had an opportunity to visit the 3 wastewater facility treatment plants. And I think it might be better if we can concentrate all this discussion into one meeting, solely for the purpose of discussing wastewater. That's my thought. It's up to you guys, just a thought.
I thought that's what we were doing tonight.
Yeah, tonight was, I really put together tonight for Can Do.
But it's on the agenda, so I thought that's what we're talking tonight.
Yes, yes.
Hugh, do you have something to add or question?
No, I've listened to all of this and there's things related to the cost and nobody knows what the cost is. But I guarantee it's not going to be 10 million, it could be as high as 15. But you're going to spread that when you start doing, you're going to spread across, put a burden on 400 or 570 residents or households in the community. Then again, you don't know the true numbers here because you can write grants, there's infrastructure development funds coming out of the feds. All that is available to us. We need to get on the stick and try and find people who would write grants, go to the Council of Government of the Rogue Valley, talk to them, find about grant writers, see what we can do to reduce the overall cost. That is our primary objective. So the burden is not going to be directly on the residents. Right now, they're implying that it's going to cost $23 per sewer fee. We're currently paying 62. So I don't know if that number would be really, we tie into the pipeline.
That's for the bond.
That's for the bond, but then you
It's gonna be more than $23.
yeah. I don't know how long the bond is. It's one of the variables in respect to costs. That we need to start looking into it. But I support pipeline 100%. In the long run, I think it'd be better for the city of Oakdale, period.
Thanks. Okay, so, Bill,
Well, can we might be able to cut to the chase a little bit if we find out from our friends at the DU if that pipeline is going to be permitted at all. I mean, that might eliminate an option right there. Well, we were at a site visit for the powerhouse, which is a completely separate deal, but the conversation did evolve into the wastewater issue that we're dealing with. And there was a representative from DUQ who said, I'd be surprised if you guys can get this even through DUQ. Now,
Get
that's
what through,
the permits.
to do our own plants.
No, to run a pipeline to make. Just the environment.
So,
I'm just telling you, that's one
so
person.
you're thinking of the wastewater treatment plant that we paid many thousands of dollars for, gave us options the DEQ wouldn't approve? Is that what you think?
That's not what I think.
Okay,
Council.
I just can't.
No,
Okay,
that's,
I know it's what you heard from.
that's right. That's not Jerry's thought. That's repeating.
I can't believe that Civil West in our wastewater master plan that we paid, does anyone here $80,000 for? Would give us options that wouldn't fly with DEQ.
Well,
you do recall that Civil West 15 minutes at our wastewater facility in preparation for this. So again, that is why there were so many errors, and DEQ listed out 9 pages, single typed errors in that report.
I would look at the suggestions to get DEQ.
John Gassick would answer that question.
yeah,
I would be surprised if John Gassick told me years ago when we first started talking about the pipelines, and he was sort of just not to do so. Well, you ought to make it big enough so that road railroads are tight.
well, here's the deal. If I may, Mayor,
That's wrong.
I think that we need to, I hate kicking a can. You guys know that about me. But if you give me 2 weeks, I can try and get John here. I can try and get Mary here. If you guys all recall, when I first interviewed with this couple, I told you all that my concern was the environmental for a pipeline.
For the pipeline to RVSS.
Yes, and I'm looking at all of you guys to nod your head because I said, I think it's gonna be a challenge getting the environmentals for the pipeline. Now, I'm not saying that's not possible, and I'm not the expert. So I think, like you said, Mark, maybe we can get John and maybe we can get Mary from the DEQ to show up and kind of voice their opinion. But I will warn everybody, they're not going to stand by a decision. They can't. I mean, for Mary or for John to say, this will never work, they will not do that. They won't. They will wait for an environmental study, which will cost thousands of dollars. And that's completely up to the council. But we won't get a yes or no answer. This will continue to be a topic of discussion.
Carl will be the one to, he's already stated, there's been misconceptions like, oh, you're gonna have to get easements.
Yeah.
He's already stated it's gonna go up the public right of way.
Yeah. And I'm not an expert. I'm saying that we all need to start thinking about this.
Is there a way we can get the map on that?
What's that?
Is there a way we could get the map on that? I mean, the right of way that goes over the hill over Blackwell? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get part of the presentation. Just show us in black and white.
There's, I'll have to look, but I believe there was a preliminary design.
Okay, so I think we all understand that we don't know what we don't know at this point. We need to know more. Jerry, I like the idea of keeping things on track, but maybe you could plan out 2 weeks and then a third week. And everybody who's got a dog in the fight gets their moment in the sun. And maybe have the DEQ facilitate or someone from RVOG, but I think DEQ is much more pertinent than
Yeah,
and COG on
And
this
again,
issue.
I caution the council, I don't think anyone from DEQ is going to come in and say, you can't do this, you can't do this. I don't think anyone's going to state whether you can or cannot, because I think it's going to take an environmental study. But certainly we can have this discussion as a sole work session in about 2 weeks. And I can invite John and I can invite Carl and we can have them all here. I really think you're gonna get anybody to commit, saying, you know what, it's not gonna cost you this, or it will cost you this. I don't think you're gonna get that. I'm just giving you guys the straight up answer. I don't think you're gonna get that. I think they're gonna be, now you can do this, or you have to consider this. I don't think you guys are gonna get definite answers. Mark, am I wrong?
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, my trip, John Gaskin, years ago, was, but they're not gonna be the ones to tell us what we should do. Should
They
we
won't.
build-
That's-
should we build a pipeline, but my drift was, if you were asked John personal, and again, this was.
That's completely,
He would say, build the pipeline.
sure, and personal is one thing, and what's gonna happen is something.
Well, sure, who's responsible for permitting the whole thing?
Right.
That's what we need to get to.
Well, that would be Carl, Road Valley Sewer Services is gonna be the ones probably to design the pipeline and oversee the construction, if we choose.
He
it.
would know if you could do that.
And they would-
Yeah.
That's what they do, is build pipeline and manage wastewater collection systems. That's their whole job. So,
So the government agency that issues the permit, we need that entity as part of
I
this
saw that Carol
conversation.
and both had their hands up, so. Carol?
Yeah, I just want to say, what's happening here now is exactly what you don't have happen at your work session. And what you need is don't be Mark and you don't be Carl and you don't be Mike. You need somebody who's neutral, who can present all of the options to you and to the community. Because I'll tell you, sitting here as a community member, I have a couple of papers here, but I have no idea what you're really looking at. Because nothing is ever presented at these meetings visually. Everything is just talked about.
Yeah.
And oral presentations are the worst. And so I'm just telling you guys that if you're gonna move forward, and I really hope you look at my timeline, because you are kicking this can has been kicked so far down the road that it's ridiculous. And I don't agree with Jessica on her choice, but I agree with Jessica on the message she sent you to get your butts in here and get going. But what I want you to have is a really good facilitator who can facilitate a discussion where not everybody agrees and have some outcomes that are stated. This is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do outcomes. And that's what we're gonna do next, this is what we're gonna do next. And you move forward. So we aren't three sessions down the road now, and we're still saying we need a work session to decide what we're gonna do. And that's what I'm hearing. And this has just gone on way, way, way too long.
Thank you, Carol. I suggested we invite somebody from RV Park to do that. Do you have someone else that you?
I don't know anybody, but we've got RV Cog have to know our legal organization, they have to know.
So I feel very
There have to
strongly
be
that
people who would take planning sessions for city council in the state of Oregon.
we need a facilitator for this discussion. I totally agree.
Good. How are we on meeting for a work session in
If we're gonna get a facilitator, I think 2 weeks is a little aggressive. 3 might be better. So I have to reach out to somebody who's not attached to the city.
Yeah.
But we want the right thing to happen, so. Can you give me 3 weeks?
So 3 weeks, 3 weeks Monday.
When's our next regular city council?
Well, we did the first third and we kind of went off the chart.
3 weeks is the first Monday in August.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
August 1st.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So will this person that's gonna be the facilitator, will they have some back history about what the meeting's about, so they know what you're facilitating.
That's a great question.
Well, if they're a good facilitator, they will. That's what I'm saying. I'm asking about somebody who is a good facilitator. Not somebody you think is a good facilitator.
Yeah, and that's the challenge.
Somebody who is.
That's a great point, guys.
And
No, I would expect
that's
them to have background. They have to have context to work from. They have to know what the issues are on the side of. They have to know all that. And there's somebody out there who can do that for you and be neutral about doing it.
So they need the information from the city.
They have to have information from somebody.
That's history.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot to it, and 3 weeks may be a little aggressive. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, we definitely will.
We're all talking, and we're just talking at the storm, but after the council will be gone from November, if you don't do something, the mayor is gonna be gone. So.
Well, January, we're all here till January.
Well, and we really can't take that into consideration.
Hold that
I think-
But
I think we have to move forward.
okay, so, you know, we got off of our first and third cycle because of holiday. So this is our regular meeting. How about if we have our regular meeting in 2 weeks and that gives you 3 to get to this,
Yeah, and
this work session and all the right players present?
we will certainly try. And like what was mentioned earlier is try to find someone who is familiar with the topic
Yeah.
and that can navigate us through the issues objectively. That's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, we don't want a moderator. We want a wastewater expert who also can be a good
Well,
moderator.
something can be objective.
I think that you can have a good moderator who is not an expert, who keeps the conversation on track and keep the information flowing and make sure everyone is heard and make sure that everything is presented clearly. I don't think they have to be an expert in wastewater.
Mark.
I'll make one more point. I spent 2 days, the better part of 2 days, putting together this document that I sent to the council. And if you throw everything out in here, except on page 2 and 3, I listed, there's 4 choices. And it's right there in black and white on this piece of paper. You've got 4 choices. Build your own plant and run it. Build your own plant, contract it out. Build your own plant, you annex into Road Sewer Services, let them run the plant, or you build the pipeline and annex into Road Sewer Services. Those are your 4 choices. It's down to that. And if you want to throw away all the other conversation, that's 4 choices you have, and you got to pick one. And that's where you're at. And throw out the rest of what I put in here. But I tried to give some background at the end on how we got to where we're at. But and again, you can fact check those 4 choices, but those are the choices we have.
Thanks, Mark. So where are we here? You try for 3 weeks. Can we do a regular session here in 2 weeks? Kind of keep,
Do we need a regular session?
It'll be a work session. I've got 3 weeks for a facilitator.
I don't think we should have a work session without a facilitator. I'm sorry,
Right.
we just go in circles.
I wrote that down, facilitator. Gotta give me 3 weeks.
okay,
And that implied put us in the first week of August, which aligns us up with our regular
Okay.
council meetings anyway.
all right.
The facilitator, okay, I'll work on it. Mayor, we got over here.
Right.
So the goal to get to the point where you're at.
Sorry, what's your question?
This workshop with a facilitator is the goal to get to a point where you guys vote. Yes.
In that session,
To give us enough information to vote.
that session,
Usually in that session.
during the work, well, we can't vote during the work session.
Yeah, so what I can find is we can do a work session and maybe even the next day, we can schedule a council meeting for an action item.
Well, we've got to stay on the Monday schedule. For people who have other jobs,
I know, I'm trying, guys.
you know,
I'm trying.
it is what it is. We're locked into Monday. Other days are off the table.
Okay.
To your point, this isn't just about talking. We do want to get through this issue, but I think it's premature to think that in 3 weeks we can have a conversation and not have time to review the material and thoughtfully vote on it. We're gonna do that this year.
Dude, we need to have done it yesterday.
We should have done it 2 years ago, but we didn't. So we're gonna do it this year, but we're also gonna come in knowing what we're talking about and not just emotionally,
How do
you
we
know.
know at what point we're ready to vote?
Well, that's the other
Is that-
question is, who do you guys accept as a facilitator? I mean, I could bring somebody in.
Somebody from RV Cog. That's
Okay.
what they're there for.
Okay. That's
Their
perfect.
job.
That's what I need to hear because
That's a possibility. RV Cog is not in the wastewater business. Get someone who actually understands. You can't keep a conversation on track if you don't understand what the
okay.
Dude, that's what a
Pertinent.
facilitator's job is, to be neutral. They don't
Right.
need to know about it. They
Well,
do a
they
quick
do
study
not.
and they do it. We need to.
I think we all agree that the person that does the facilitator does not know the wastewater.
Okay, got
We
it.
agree.
Okay.
So I think we should do the work session with the facilitator and then just vote on it on the next meeting.
Okay, got it. All right, guys.
Okay. We'll see you all in 3 weeks. We've got a couple more items. Report from counselors.
Well, I'm still working on the my school and beach cleanup plan. I'm just putting some final details on it. I should, if we've got time for the next regularly scheduled council meeting, I'll hand basically a little explanation sheet for everyone to get involved
Good.
and see how that goes.
Good.
I'd like to comment on the Whitewater, or sorry. I'm blank.
The-
Powerhouse, thank you, project. Last week, we had 5 people. So we had one from TQ. We had several people from this agency called CIS, which is, or IC, it's Intercity Fund or something. And they help cities deal with brownfields problems. We had a brownfield problem there with the powerhouse. We had a site visit. I think they were a little appalled at what they saw. They got pretty quiet when they looked in there and looked behind the power plant at the puddle that is full of paint cans and that is leaching into the river. So if you want to talk about environmental problems, I think what we have there, power plant is a much bigger environmental problem than what we have in the wastewater plant. That's aside. We also, Jerry is working on, we got that grant for $60,000 to do the structural studies and the hazardous material studies. And Jerry is working on getting bids for those. So we're moving along on that project.
So what was the site visit at power line for?
Scoping is what they call it.
Demolition potentially, something
Well,
like
so making a decision about whether to reuse or remove structure depends on the studies. Structural engineering first, is it sound? Is it safe to use any of it? And then is it safe in terms of environment, or in terms of public health, CBCs, asbestos, lead, all of that. Those will guide the decision about what our options are for the power plant. These people, what they do all over the country, one of these guys came all the way from Nebraska. So this problem that we have. There was a environmental architect, landscape architects, engineer. And so they're getting ready to scope the project once we get those studies.
If I may, Mayor, just to add to what Councilor Bishai had said. It's important for us to get these people here, get boots on the ground, because we can tell people all day long what our issue is, but they don't really understand it until they see it. And photos did really great. Photos, I mean, they saw these photos like, whoa, this is a problem. And then when they showed up last week, they're like, whoa.
I'm telling you, they were.
Absolutely. And so
There's this giant cupola up on top, and the roof is so rotten that cupola is about to fall through the roof. And there are people in there tagging it with paint cans. It's gonna
Even-
fall on their head one of these days.
Yeah, and we have had an employee, Tony, told people, stay to the sides because we can't trust what's gonna happen up above. So we just wanted that realism to hit these people so they understood what kind of issue we're dealing with. So I think it struck a nerve with people, and I think we're gonna see some movement towards addressing that issue.
Okay. Department report.
I think I had something that I was gonna talk about the visit that we had with the DEQ and EPA last week. Awesome visit. It was a hands-on, boots on the ground visit with the powerhouse where we had people coming from Nebraska and from Washington DC come and look at our facility or our powerhouse to look at what an issue we have here. So I think that we've really gained the interest of some powerful people. And it's gonna all come me, Carrie, and the council to really put it in writing to get some help to address these issues. What else we have? I think that's,
It's been pretty quiet the last
Yeah,
couple
I
of
think
weeks,
it-
honestly.
the powerhouse has been the big issue.
Okay, good. Any good of the order? Council? Okay, thank you for your attention. 3 weeks, first Monday in August.
Got it.
Meeting's adjourned.